Donald Trump is temperamentally unfit to be president.
We will make America great again.
That is code for let's take America backwards.
The Clinton.
Rhetoric. We hear this word used almost every day, especially in the political arena. So what does it actually mean? Traditional rhetorical scholarship defined rhetoric as persuasion, focusing specifically on the artistic proofs: pathos, ethos, and logos. Kenneth Burke, a noted rhetorical scholar, claimed the most characteristic concern of rhetoric is the manipulation of men's belief for political ends. The basic function of rhetoric is the use of words by human agents to form attitudes or to induce actions in other human agents. Burke expanded upon the definition of rhetoric further when he introduced the concept of identification to the field of rhetorical study and communication studies in his 1950 book, Rhetoric of Motives. Burke emphasized the role of symbols in human communication. It is through the use of these symbols, or language, that we communicate and ultimately persuade. Burke recognized identification to be a rhetorical tool that can ease the process of persuasion. He argued that persuasion was only possible when there was some similarity between the speaker and the audience. In short, if an audience identifies with the rhetor or speaker, then they are more likely to be persuaded. This notion of identification in conjunction with persuasion is particularly relevant to the field of media studies, especially when considering the concept of framing. Framing refers to how the way in which a piece of media is presented to the audience can influence how they perceive it. The way a news clip or article is framed to the viewer can influence their identification as well. When confronted with difference, an audience is more likely to achieve some level of identification if the subject is framed positively. A 2009 study by Mueller analyzed the concept of identification in popular media. When the viewer saw a character of a different race or ethnicity portrayed on television in a positive way, they were more likely to identify with that character. When this identification process occurs, the perception of a perceived ethnic threat is reduced. So let's look at this example. Why is this image persuasive? How and why are so many people making positive associations with such a negatively charged message? This image is simple, with deliberate use of color, limited textual information, yet somehow it is rhetorically powerful. It uses symbols of language and image to communicate a message. Certain phrases are bolded. Simply reading these bolded phrases communicates the overall message. The use of a widely recognizable symbol, Skittles, a popular candy, allows the viewer to identify with the overall message, framing them in a positive way to accept a negative message. Some questions to consider.